Most seniors I see in my clinic believe that waking up 3 or 4 times a night to run to the bathroom is just a normal part of getting older. They think it's an inevitable tax you pay for reaching age 65, like gray hair or needing reading glasses. But here is the uncomfortable truth your doctor might not have told you at your last annual physical. It is common, but it is not normal. A healthy, resilient bladder doesn't just give up because you hit a certain milestone on the calendar. In fact, if you can still do the 5 things we are going to talk about today, your bladder isn't just holding its own, it is actually functioning like it's years younger than your driver's license says. If you are struggling, it means your bladder is aging faster than you are, and that is something we need to fix before it starts dictating where you can travel, how you sleep, and how you live your life. I am Dr. Carl, a urologist with 16 years of practice, helping seniors regain control of their lives and their freedom. Today, we are going to walk through the 5 definitive signs that your bladder is still young, healthy, and working exactly the way nature intended. We will cover everything from how long you should be able to hold your urine on a standard road trip, to the hidden reason why your bathroom habits might be ruining your deep sleep, to a simple test you can do right at your kitchen counter. Pay close attention to sign number 4, because it involves a very specific habit at the pharmacy counter that most seniors completely overlook, yet it secretly destroys bladder capacity over time. If you can do number 4, you are in a very elite group of folks over 65. Before we dive into the first sign, I want to ask you a quick question, and I'd love for you to drop your answer in the comments below. How many times are you currently waking up in the middle of the night to use the restroom? Be completely honest. Is it once, 3 times, or have you lost count? I read every single comment personally, and your real world experiences directly shape what medical topics I cover in these videos next. Let's start with the very first sign that your bladder is younger than your age. You can easily watch a full 2 hour movie or drive for 2 hours on the highway without a single bathroom break. I hear from so many seniors who tell me they've stopped going to the local theater or they dread driving down to Florida for the winter because they have to map out every single rest stop along the interstate. When you are under 50, your bladder is incredibly elastic. It behaves like a soft, pliable balloon that can expand comfortably to hold about 16 ounces of fluid without sending urgent panic signals to your brain. But as we get older, a few things happen. The bladder muscle, which is called the detrusor muscle, can become stiff and fibrous. Think of it like an old leather shoe that has lost its stretch. When that happens, even a tiny amount of urine makes the bladder feel completely full, creating that sudden, frantic rush to find a restroom. If you can sit through a long feature film or coast along the highway for a solid 2 hours without feeling that sudden pressure, it means your bladder muscle has maintained its youthful elasticity and compliance. A study published in the Journal of Urology highlighted that bladder capacity and compliance naturally decline with age, but individuals who maintain normal capacity show significantly better long-term pelvic floor health. If you want to help your bladder stay young or start retraining it this week, here is your action step. Stop going to the bathroom just in case. Many seniors get into the habit of peeing before they leave the house, before they get in the car, and before they sit down to dinner, even if they don't really have to go. This actually shrinks your bladder's functional capacity over time because you are teaching it to empty at smaller and smaller volumes. Try waiting until you feel a genuine urge before you head to the restroom. Of course, if you have a medical condition or take specific water pills, you should always discuss your fluid schedule with your doctor before making major changes. The second sign your bladder is younger than your age is that you only wake up once, or ideally not at all, during an 8 hour night of sleep. There is a common myth at the pharmacy counter and in senior communities that waking up multiple times a night is just what happens when you turn 70. It even has a medical name, nocturia, and it is one of the leading reasons seniors suffer from chronic fatigue and even dangerous nighttime falls. When your bladder is young and healthy, your body produces a specific hormone at night that tells your kidneys to slow down urine production while you sleep. This allows your urine to become more concentrated, meaning your bladder doesn't fill up nearly as fast during the night. As we get older, our bodies sometimes produce less of this hormone, or our bladder walls become so sensitive that even a small amount of urine triggers the wake up switch in our brain. Furthermore, poor circulation can cause fluid to pool in your legs during the day while you are sitting or playing golf, and the moment you lie flat in bed, all that fluid rushes back into your bloodstream and travels straight to your kidneys. If you are sleeping soundly through the night and only rising once at most, your hormonal balance and bladder capacity are functioning at a remarkably youthful level. Research from the American Urological Association has shown that frequent nighttime urination is strongly linked to fragmented sleep, which takes a massive toll on your daytime energy and cognitive health. To improve this starting tonight, try to implement a hard cutoff for your fluids about 3 hours before you go to bed. You should also try elevating your legs on a couple of pillows for an hour in the late afternoon. This helps your body process that extra fluid while you are still awake, so you can leave it in the toilet before you turn off the lights, rather than dealing with it at 3 o'clock in the morning. The third sign that your bladder is beating the clock is that you can laugh, cough, sneeze, or lift a heavy bag of groceries without experiencing a single drop of leakage. This issue, often called stress urinary incontinence, is something many seniors find incredibly embarrassing, but it is a very clear window into how your body is aging. Think of your bladder like a water bottle and your pelvic floor muscles like the cap on that bottle. When you cough, sneeze, or swing a golf club, your abdomen braces, which puts sudden, intense pressure on the top of that water bottle. If the cap, your pelvic floor muscles, and the urinary sphincter is strong and tight, nothing leaks out. But as the years crawl by, those muscles can weaken due to a lack of specific use, hormonal shifts, or past surgeries. When they lose their tone, they can't withstand that sudden pressure, and a small amount of urine escapes. If you can laugh heartily at a joke with your grandkids or lift a heavy suitcase into the trunk of your car without even thinking about leakage, your pelvic floor muscles are performing like a champ. A comprehensive Mayo Clinic review emphasized that pelvic floor muscle integrity is the absolute primary defense against involuntary leakage as we age, and keeping these muscles strong prevents a host of urological issues later in life. Your clear action step for this week is to start performing gentle, targeted pelvic floor contractions, often called Kegels. The easiest way to find these muscles is to imagine you are trying to stop the flow of urine midstream or trying to avoid passing gas in a quiet room. Squeeze those internal muscles, hold for 3 seconds, and then completely relax for 3 seconds. Do a set of 10 of these while you are brushing your teeth or waiting for your morning coffee to brew. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it is like taking your bladder to the gym. Quick pause here. If this information is helping you connect the dots about your own health, please take a brief second to tap that like button. It tells the system to share this medical guidance with more seniors who truly need to hear it. And remember to tell me down in the comments how many times you are waking up at night, because I am using your answers to build my upcoming videos. Now, let's move to the fourth sign, which is the one I warned you about earlier, and it is a major indicator of youthful bladder health. You can stream through your day without your bladder being irritated by common trigger foods and medications. Many seniors notice that after age 60, their bladder suddenly becomes incredibly sensitive. They drink a cup of coffee in the morning or enjoy a glass of wine at dinner, and within 20 minutes, they are running to the bathroom with an intense, burning urgency. What is happening inside the body is that the protective lining of the bladder wall, which is made of a specialized layer of cells, can thin out as we get older. Imagine it like the enamel on your teeth wearing down. Without that barrier, acidic or irritating substances in your urine come into direct contact with the sensitive nerves underneath. Furthermore, many seniors are prescribed common medications for blood pressure or heart health at their annual physical, such as diuretics, which flood the bladder with fluid all at once, or other prescriptions that inadvertently irritate the bladder nerves. If you can enjoy your morning tea or coffee, eat spicy foods, and take your daily routine medications without feeling like your bladder is on fire, your bladder lining is remarkably robust and youthful. Some studies suggest that age-related changes in the bladder urothelium, which is that inner lining, are heavily responsible for the sudden urgency that plagues older adults. Your action step this week is to do a little detective work at your kitchen counter and your pharmacy counter. If you notice a sudden spike in urgency, Look at what you ate or drank over the past 2 hours. Common culprits include citrus fruits, artificial sweeteners, and highly caffeinated beverages. Also, take a close look at your medication list. If you suspect your blood pressure pill or another prescription is causing severe bladder urgency, never stop taking it on your own. Instead, have a specific conversation with your doctor at your next Medicare visit to see if there is an alternative option that is friendlier to your bladder. The fifth and final sign that your bladder is younger than your age is that you can completely empty your bladder in a single, continuous, strong stream without straining, hovering, or needing to go back 5 minutes later. When you are young, urination is a beautifully coordinated dance. The bladder muscle squeezes at the exact same moment that the sphincter muscle opens up, allowing urine to flow out effortlessly in a few seconds. In both cases, the bladder muscle has to work twice as hard to push urine out, and over time, it gets exhausted, leaving a pool of stagnant urine behind. This is why you might feel like you are finished, only to realize you need to go again the moment you wash your hands. If you can walk into the restroom, release a steady, uninterrupted stream, and walk out feeling completely empty, your urinary mechanics are in fantastic shape. Medical consensus from major urological research bodies confirms that incomplete bladder emptying is a primary driver of recurrent urinary tract infections and bladder stones in older adults. Your action step this week is to practice a technique called double voiding, especially before you leave the house or go to bed. When you think you are finished urinating, don't rush to stand up. Lean forward slightly, rest your hands on your knees, relax your stomach muscles completely, and wait about 30 seconds. Quite often, you will find that a significant amount of trapped urine will easily flow out, which protects your bladder from stretching out and prevents those annoying return trips to the bathroom. To show you how powerful these small changes can be, let me tell you about a patient of mine named Robert. Robert is a 72-year-old retired corporate executive who spends his winters in Scottsdale, Arizona. When he first came to my office, he was incredibly discouraged. He loved playing golf with his friends, but he was constantly dropping out after the ninth hole because he couldn't make it through a full round without multiple frantic bathroom breaks. He was waking up 3 or 4 times every single night, which left him completely exhausted during the day, and he had stopped taking road trips to see his grandkids because the anxiety of finding a restroom was simply too much to bear. He thought his bladder was just worn out from old age. But we sat down and looked at his habits. We realized he was drinking 3 cups of black coffee every morning, running to the bathroom just in case every hour, and rushing out of the restroom before his bladder was completely empty. I put him on a simple protocol. We moved his coffee to after breakfast, stopped the precautionary bathroom visits to help expand his bladder capacity, and taught him the double voiding technique. Within just 6 weeks, Robert went from waking up 4 times a night to just once. He was back to playing a full 18 holes of golf without a single interruption, and he recently drove all the way to California to visit his family without any bathroom anxiety. His bladder wasn't permanently broken. It just needed the right care to function youthfully again. Let's quickly review tonight's plan so you have a concrete roadmap to start rejuvenating your bladder today. First, stop going to the bathroom just in case and let your bladder build its natural capacity. Second, implement a strict fluid cutoff 3 hours before you go to sleep to protect your night of rest. Third, do 10 gentle pelvic floor squeezes while you brush your teeth to strengthen that vital muscle cap. Fourth, identify and minimize any irritating foods or drinks like excess caffeine or artificial sweeteners. And fifth, use the double voiding technique by waiting an extra 30 seconds on the toilet to ensure you are completely empty. If you start applying these 5 steps, you are going to see a massive difference in your daily freedom and your sleep quality. But there is another common nighttime habit that many seniors think is completely harmless, yet it can actually trigger severe bladder spasms and force you out of bed every hour on the dot. In my next video, I am going to reveal exactly what that common bedtime habit is and how you can fix it in less than 60 seconds. I am Dr. Carl. Stay well, and I will see you there.